Hey, everybody, good morning. Thanks so much for coming today. I really like this microphone. I want to get one at home. Salil Badhand and I are the faculty directors of OpenDP. Salil is a theoretical computer scientist, and I'm a social scientist and statistician. Roughly, he does privacy, I do utility. You figure you need us both. Right. Our vision for OpenDP is that it has four parts. It has software, community, institutions, and intellectual direction. On software, it ought to be, as you know, all owned by all and publicly validated and trusted and trustworthy. It is great that there's so many business models for software and licensing structures and things like that, but for privacy software, closed source software, where there could possibly be a little hose that comes out of the back, sucking data out, it just doesn't make any sense. There's just no way to actually do it. As trustworthy as the people may be, we just don't really know. Plus, for valid statistical inference, you have to know the data generation process. And if you don't know the data generation process, you can't make valid statistical inferences. It doesn't make any sense. So our community validated OpenDP software that we're all working on is going to fix this. Second, that's two. Second is the community, which is all of us together, devoted to deciding what validated and trustworthy means and working on a vast array of intellectual and academic challenges as we discover new data sets and use cases and quantities of interest and implementing the technology that we figure out how to do in each of these cases. And to build approaches, of course, with both privacy and utility. Third, are institutions supporting this effort, which we can't do without. First is the Harvard Privacy Tools Project at SEAS, which Salil leads. Second is Harvard's Institute for Quantitative Social Science that I lead. We have forward-looking funders, including the Sloan Foundation, who helped us get started, as well as now NSF and Census Bureau and Microsoft and Mozilla and Meta and Apple, Data.org, and a variety of others, and we're thrilled to have their help. Also, the universities and institutions that you all come from, all of which are incredibly important, and perhaps especially the growing list of firms and research groups that are trying out the software and contributing to our efforts, if only by saying, "Can you do this?" And then we realize, oh, wait a minute, this is actually an important thing, and we don't know how to do this. And then we find someone in the community that might help figure it out. And fourth, we think a sort of a new, unified intellectual direction for the field. I mean, traditionally, scholars all understand that there's a continuum from abstract mathematical theory all the way to application. And we tend to pick one point on this continuum to spend our entire career at. Right? And the idea here is that DP is an unusual field. It is the kind of thing where you can't do it alone. And so we would hope that even though, of course, we're going to primarily specialize in one point on the continuum, we would all understand all of the points of the continuum. We would understand that we can't do it alone. To explain, let me compare DP innovations to statistical innovations, just in terms of how hard it is to actually do. So for statistical innovation, one of my grad students can come up with a statistical model today, this afternoon, write up a package in R, the statistical software package tonight, submit it to the CRAN repository of packages, and tomorrow you can use it. That's the whole development process. For differential privacy, as of course you must know, here's what you need. Okay, you need a business person, someone that deeply understands the application. Let's say at a company or at a government or at some other organization. They understand the business, of course, because that's what they do. That's what they do for a living. They're at the business. They also have to understand enough of what we do to care, not only about privacy, because they probably do, but to care that about us and to understand what differential privacy is and what we're after and what we can offer them, which is actually very different than the kinds of things that may just exist in people's heads at businesses that say, hey, we'd like some privacy, right? It's a completely different thing. So they have to completely understand us. They have to understand the business. They have to understand the people at the business. Even if that is the CEO can't make people in the business do things. You may have noticed this if you have people working for you. Some of the people who work for me actually are in the audience. You can't tell them what to do, because most of the time we tell people do things that have never been done before in the history of the world, and they know more about it than we do. And so you need support from that whole business. That's just the first person. You need the computer science theorists and others to prove the differential privacy theorem, so that the promise of all this, the mathematical guarantees actually work. You need the developers that translate the theorems into usable OpenDP software, and have people validate that the theorems actually are implemented in the code, and those are the same things. But that's not enough, actually, right? Because you have to run the code somewhere, so you have to have hardware and cybersecurity experts, so that we're doing our very nice thing of making sure that you can add noise at the right thing. But if somebody steals the data out the back end before the noise is added, it's sort of a waste of time. We need those people. We're going to be adding noise to the data or to the results, the quantities of interest. And so you have to have statisticians, because you cannot analyze data the way that we have learned to analyze data in the past. It doesn't make any sense, because now it has noise as part of the data generation process, which completely changes statistics. So all the statistical analyses that we would use, and so you have to have a statistician on the team as well. And then, because these are very different kinds of people that before really didn't have any particular reason to spend a lot of time talking to each other, you need a coordinator and a leader and a communicator, ideally that would be the same person or a small group of people, that can talk to all of these people. Okay, and that long list of people, disparate people that may not know each other, that don't always have exactly the same incentives, have to be corralled by this last person. But that list of people corresponds to my graduate student at night, deciding on the math. So that just says, I guess it says, maybe you should just go develop our packages. No, it doesn't say that. It says what we're doing is hard. Okay, you can't do it on your own. You need the community. So thank you for coming. I think we need each other. With these 4 components of OpenDP, we are already seeing increasingly widespread use of differential privacy in real applications across academia and industry and governments, and even in your pockets and your cell phone. I'll mention my own personal goals for OpenDP, in addition to the ones that I've listed. I'm a social scientist, and the goal of the social sciences is to understand and solve the problems that affect human society. To do this, we need data from the people that we study, the people and the groups and the organizations and the companies and the countries. We used to have all the data in the world because we created all the data in the world, the surveys and things like that. It all existed in the university, pretty much all of it, or it was just given to us by governments or things like that. Now we have more data than ever before, which has created spectacular progress. But although the social sciences have more data than ever before, we have a smaller fraction of data in the world about the people that we study than ever before, because most of it now is locked up inside private companies or governments or other organizations, mostly for privacy concerns. And so we have to find some way of dealing with this. We all think that differential privacy can help avoid the balancing act. And we need differential privacy software and community and institutions and intellectual direction. I think of what those things can do is provide a technological solution to the political problem of data sharing. Instead of you getting us negotiating where every dollar that you get, I don't get, we come up with these solutions so that you can get 100% of what you want, and I can get 100% of what I want. And then that is a good way of solving political problems. Finally, I am proud to introduce our eloquent keynote speaker for today, Howie Stevens, who's a member of the House of Representatives, U.S. House of Representatives from the 11th District of Michigan. As it happens, Congress is in session as we speak, and trying to keep the government open. And so I think we all need to thank Representative Stevens for not showing up here and not giving her talk as originally planned. But let's also thank her for taking the time and the thoughtfulness to record a talk for us. So we will actually see Representative Stevens, and I think you will really enjoy what she has to say. She is a ranking member of the Research and Technology Subcommittee of the House of Representatives. She's also the co-author of the Privacy Enhancing Research Act, an act that I think anyone here would have loved to have been an author of. If passed, the act will directly advance the OpenDP mission. It will help integrate the different privacy efforts across government agencies and create standards and promote grants, maybe even to some here, and give more of what we do more visibility. It will also help us accomplish our goals, including protecting the privacy of everybody and protecting companies and governments and other organizations from inadvertently committing random acts of evil by revealing private information that they don't intend to. And protecting these organizations from the random acts of terror that they experience when they inadvertently leak information and the media discover that, or when they could provide information and data to academics that could make us all live longer, healthier, happier lives, but they're not going to do it because they're sort of afraid, right? And that can also be random acts of terror. The result of this, if we can figure out how to all work together, should be that everybody literally, because of these developments, because of what you're all doing, because of this project, because of all of your contributions, we should literally all wind up living longer, healthier, happier, more private, but lives with lots more utility. Please help me welcome Representative Hallie Stevens.